All right, today we're talking about Hinduism. It's one of the world's oldest and most fascinating traditions. And you know what? Its ideas are probably way more familiar to you than you even realize. Let's dive in.
So, when you hear the word Hinduism, you might picture something, I don't know, far away, ancient, right? But the truth is, its core ideas have been bubbling up in Western thought for a very, very long time.
I mean, check this out. Even America's founding fathers were fascinated by it. You've got John Adams writing to Thomas Jefferson, no less, and he's calling these doctrines that came out of India sublime, if ever there were any sublime. That's some pretty high praise.
And this is where it gets really fun. These ancient ideas, they echo in some of our biggest, most iconic stories. Think about the Force in Star Wars, that cosmic energy that connects everything. Well, that's a perfect parallel to Shakti, this idea of a universal creative power. In The Matrix, the idea that the world we see isn't real, that's basically the concept of Maya, this powerful illusion that we all perceive as reality. So cool, right?
So what's behind all this? What are the big ideas that lead to these incredible connections? Let's get into the fundamentals of how Hinduism sees the universe and our place in it. Okay, so at the very, very heart of it all is this concept of Brahman. Now, this isn't a person or a god in the way you might think. It's bigger. It's the universal soul, a formless, genderless source of all reality. The slide says to think of it like a vast ocean that contains everything, and that's a perfect way to picture it.
Right. So if Brahman is that massive, endless ocean, then what are we? Well, each of us has what's called an Atman, and that's the individual soul, a single, immortal drop from that cosmic ocean. It's the piece of Brahman that exists inside every single living thing.
So, this soul, your Atma, isn't just sitting still. It's on this epic journey. Everything we do, good or bad, creates karma. It's like a cosmic law of cause and effect. And that karma decides our path through something called samsara, which is this continuous cycle of death and rebirth. But there's an end goal to all this. The ultimate prize is moksha, liberation. It's breaking free from that cycle and finally reuniting your little drop of a soul with that vast ocean of Brahman.
So, you might be asking, how do I create good karma? Well, that's where Dharma comes in. Think of it as your purpose, your moral duty, your proper behavior. It's the cosmic law that keeps everything in balance, and every single being has their own specific dharma to follow to help maintain that balance. Okay, so we've got these huge cosmic ideas, but how does that translate to daily life? How do people actually connect with the divine? This is one of the most fascinating aspects. Instead of saying, here is the one and only way, Hinduism really offers what you could call a democracy of choice. It totally gets that different people are going to connect with the divine in their own unique ways, and it makes space for that.
For a lot of people, that connection comes through various deities who are all seen as different manifestations or aspects of that one ultimate reality, Brahman. You've probably heard of the main trio, the Trimurti. There's Brahma, the creator. Then you have Vishnu, the preserver, who keeps the universe in balance. And finally Shiva, the destroyer. And don't let that word fool you. His role is all about clearing away the old to make room for renewal and new creation.
And that same kind of flexibility, it applies to the sacred texts too. Unlike a lot of other major religions, there isn't one single prophet who delivered the message, or one single central holy book that you have to follow. It's much more like a gigantic, incredible library of wisdom. You've got the Vedas, which are some of the most ancient scriptures in the world. Then there are the Upanishads, which get really deep into the philosophy of it all. And of course, the epic poems, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which is actually the longest poem ever written and includes the famous Bhagavad Gita. Each one gives you a different perspective, a different way in.
So, okay, this all sounds ancient, right? But how does it fit into the world today? Well, as we're about to see, this is anything but a relic of the past. It is a living, breathing, and totally global faith.
I mean, just look at the numbers. In North America alone, there are about 4 million Hindus today. It's a huge, vibrant part of the global community.
And this isn't a recent thing either. The roots run deep in the West. You can trace a major moment back to 1893, when Swami Vivekananda just wowed the audience at the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago. Then, in the 1920s, teachers like Paramahansa Yogananda brought practices like meditation to the mainstream. And everything really took off after 1965, when changes in immigration laws opened the doors for many more people to come to the U.S.
And its reach is truly global.
It stretches from the island of Bali in Indonesia, which is mostly Hindu, to these amazing long-standing communities in the Caribbean, in places like Trinidad and Guyana. You can even find traces of its ancient history in places you might not expect, like Afghanistan. And yeah, probably the most visible, everyday influence is something millions of us do: yoga. Get this, over 36 million people in the US practice it. And while it's great for fitness, its origins are deeply philosophical, a spiritual practice designed to unite the mind, body, and spirit.
Okay, so after all that, the philosophy, the history, the global reach, what's the takeaway? What's the ultimate goal here? What kind of path does this tradition lay out for actually living a good, meaningful life?
Well, it's not just about escaping the cycle of rebirth. Hinduism outlines 4 aims for a full and balanced life. And what I love about this is that it really embraces the whole human experience. First, there's Dharma, living a virtuous life. Then Artha, which is the pursuit of success and prosperity. That's totally okay. And Kama, enjoying the pleasures of the mind and body. But it all leads to that final goal, moksha, tying it all together by seeking that ultimate spiritual liberation.
Which brings us to one last big question to chew on. If a central part of this whole journey is to look past illusion, past Maya, to find what's real, what are the illusions shaping our world today? What are the modern matrices that maybe we should be questioning in our own lives?